A woman stepped into the luxury car dealership, her eyes filled with excitement as she admired the gleaming cars on display. She had been dreaming of this moment for a long time. Dressed in a simple blouse and a pair of well-worn jeans, she didn't look like the usual customers who walked in, but that didn't dim her enthusiasm. She approached a sales representative standing near a sleek black sports car and smiled warmly. "Excuse me, I'd love to take a look at this model. Could you tell me more about its features?" she asked politely. The salesman barely glanced at her before letting out a short laugh. "This one? It's quite expensive, ma'am. Are you sure you're in the right place?" His tone dripped with skepticism. She felt a flicker of embarrassment, but stood her ground. "Yes, I'm sure. Could you tell me about the price and financing options?" Another salesperson, who had been listening nearby, whispered something to his colleague, and they both chuckled. "Look, lady," the first one said, crossing his arms, "these cars aren't cheap. Maybe you should check out something more affordable." Her cheeks burned with humiliation. She had never expected to be judged like this. She turned to the dealership manager, hoping for better treatment, but he only glanced at her and dismissed her with a wave of his hand. "We're busy with real customers," he muttered before walking away. Swallowing the lump in her throat, she turned and walked out, vowing they'd regret this. The next morning, the dealership was as busy as ever, with salespeople chatting with wealthy clients, trying to close deals. The showroom buzzed with energy, until a deep, luxurious hum of an engine silenced the room. A sleek, black Rolls-Royce Phantom glided to a stop right in front of the dealership. Every head turned. The doors opened, and out stepped the same woman from the day before, but today she looked completely different. Dressed in an elegant designer outfit with a touch of understated luxury, she carried herself with quiet confidence. Her heels clicked against the polished floor as she stepped inside, her presence alone enough to make the salespeople nervous. The same salesman who had laughed at her yesterday immediately recognized her, his face turning pale. The dealership manager, sensing something was off, approached cautiously. Before he could speak, a sharply dressed chauffeur stepped forward and handed him a gold-trimmed envelope. The manager hesitated, then opened it, his hands trembling as he read the message inside. "To the management, I was here yesterday, eager to buy a car, but your staff dismissed me based on my appearance. Today, I bring a message from my husband, who is a billionaire. He has decided to purchase multiple luxury cars, but not from your dealership. We take our business where respect is given, not where judgment is passed." The manager's face turned ghostly white as the realization sank in. The salespeople stood frozen, exchanging panicked glances. They had just made the biggest mistake of their careers. The sound of the Rolls-Royce door closing echoed through the stunned silence of the dealership. The employees stood frozen, their faces filled with regret, but the woman didn't look back. She had already given them enough of her time, and their second chances had long passed. The manager, now sweating, rushed forward, desperate. "Ma'am, please, just give us one more chance. We'll offer you the best deals, the best service. She turned slightly, her gaze piercing. "You think this is about money?" she asked, her voice calm but filled with quiet pain. "You didn't just lose a customer. You lost the chance to treat someone with dignity before knowing their worth." A few feet away, the same salesman who had laughed at her yesterday clenched his fists. His face was red with shame. I didn't mean to," he started, but his words faded under the weight of his own guilt. She inhaled deeply, letting the moment linger. "Do you know what hurt the most?" she finally said. "It wasn't that you refused to sell me a car. It was the way you looked at me, like I was invisible, like I didn't belong." The weight of her words crushed the arrogance in the room. Some employees lowered their heads, unable to meet her gaze. The manager opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. There was nothing to say. She turned to her chauffeur, her voice steady. "Take me to a dealership where respect comes first." As the Rolls-Royce glided away, the employees stood motionless, knowing they had just let something far more valuable than money slip through their fingers. a lesson they would never forget.